Tori, Darke and Jay Santilli have their own distinct and distinctive careers in country music. Jay with her moving emotional songs that saw her become a 2024 Star Maker Grand Finalist, and Tori with her often high energy country pop and also very thoughtful songs that has seen her make an impression on The Voice and elsewhere. They now have a song together, their first. It is called Trouble. I don't think they're in trouble. I think it's great trouble, but I want to talk to them about the trouble. Hello, Jay, and hello, Tori.
Hello.
Hello.
It's great to see you both. I've interviewed you separately, but obviously the first time together because it's your first song together. And Jay, the first question is for you. That you and Tori have been friends for 15 years, I understand. Where did you meet?
We met. We did the rounds at, I think it would have been maybe a Telstra Road to Tamworth competition. I did those for a few years, and I believe that might have been the first time that I met Tori, but we got to know each other at the Academy in Tamworth in, I'm going to say 2009. And that's when the friendship kind of just took off from there. So it's been a long time.
So Telstra Road to Tamworth, of course, now very much in the past, but what did, so Jay, what did you get out of that competition? Apart from Tori.
The most important thing, me.
I got a beautiful runners-up trophy. I took a lot out of it. It was really cool. It was kind of my first experiences getting into the country scene. Before that, as you know, I kind of was involved with the pop punk scene. And as I became a solo artist, country was where I really wanted to be. And Telstra Road was just one of those opportunities. And it kind of allowed me to network with people like Tori and just get amongst all these other country musicians.
And Tori, for you, obviously having been on The Voice, you like a competition, but did you like a competition when you were in the Road to Tamworth?
Yeah, look, I think it's just part of your musical education is to enter competitions and to enter in just to get to know people for a start. Like it can be a very lonely industry. Like it's really hard to meet people, and Jay and I have been friends for, like we said, 15 years, but yet we're in different states, and it's a great way to network and to just like to hone your craft as well and to get feedback. Like there's nothing better than someone saying, hey, like you were great, but like I reckon you could work on this, or I reckon you could work on that. And I think things like Telstra to Tamworth or The Voice or Star Maker or any of those competitions that we've been a part of, they're really like a growing learning experience. It's never been about winning for me, but the relationships that I've gotten from some of those competitions has just been incredible.
And Tori, I'll stay with you on that subject of loneliness, actually, because it's a great point that you make, which is that if an audience were looking at you on the stage, you're surrounded by people, it would look like it's this big, busy life. And it is a big, busy life, but these are experiences that very few people have, I think, is part of it. It's like, it's actually, when you break down the numbers, there just aren't that many people doing what you're doing.
That's right. And it's a full-time job. Like you are putting your blood, sweat and tears into everything that you do. And from the moment you walk onto that stage to the moment you walk off the stage, to the social media that you have to do, to the driving, the traveling, the flights, the, midnight Macca's runs, like it's an industry that is really hard, and there's not a lot of people doing it, like doing the touring, doing the shows, getting into the studio and spending, their last dollar on a song just to get it out there, just to get your name out there. And it can definitely be a very lonely industry, but it's also an industry that is very supportive too. So there's nothing better than having some great friends in this industry.
So Jay, when the two of you connected at the Academy, did you connect primarily because same place, same time, or was it actually this musical connection? You liked some music in common, you knew that you could work well together. Did you actually, in fact, do something like write a song together while you were there?
Surprisingly, I don't think we did write a song together. But I just remember being on the flight to Tamworth and our parents just sat us next to each other on the plane and they said, this is Tori, she's going to be your best friend. Make sure you look after her and she's going to look after you. And it kind of just went from there. And I just remember having such a blast and like we all became family and we'd go out together I remember, I think it was the night of the concert that they do at the academy, and everyone was just so happy, and we all went home, I think, with a whole new set of friendship circles, and like we still to this day talk to a lot of people in that group as well. So yeah, it was really special. And like Tori, I think, is just one of those people where I've just had a constant relationship with since that very day. So it's a really special thing.
I love the fact that your parents match made you as friends.
I know. It's very cute. And you know what? I'm also very, very grateful as well, because like Tori said, it is very it can be very lonely being a musician, and very isolating. And sometimes you think that you're the only person that can be struggling or feeling that way, and it's very much the opposite. So it's nice to have friends that are going through the same things.
Absolutely. So now, Tori, you have created this song with Jay. It is a duet. It's the second duet in a row for you, because you released The Chain with your voice co-star Brad Butcher, and you're actually on tour with him as well. Are you a natural collaborator, do you think?
Until recently, I had no idea. But I had only ever recorded one duo before, or one duet before, which was off my Silver Lining album, which was actually with Mitch Thompson from Seaforth. So, and yeah, it's just kind of been the powers that be that it's happened to be two collabs in a row. Jay and I wrote this song last year, and as soon as we got the track back in, I think November, we both had separate releases planned for February, both solo releases planned, and we just were like, this song is too good to miss this summer. And it's just, I think it was the most that we'd been like super excited about a song and about a release, and knowing that we were going into it together too was something really cool and really special. And I couldn't let it sort of, wait until the end of the year, because we're like, oh, we'll record it and then we'll just see when it fits into our release schedule. And Jay had a release planned for February, I had a release planned for February, and we both just put those on hold and went, you know what, like, let's just do this one together and let's get it out there. And everyone that has heard this song so far, which isn't too many people, but like so far, the response has just been incredible. And we are so, so grateful and lucky that we just took that gamble and went, you know what, let's get this song out there. Let's get it heard. Let's get, everyone getting into trouble like we love to do. So it's been a blessing, and I don't see this as being the only collab that Jay and I ever do. That's for sure.
Well, that is interesting intel. It's also interesting intel to know that the two of you each have a song queued up, ready to go, probably at some point in the near future. So Jay, when you came to write this song together, did you have a particular kind of trouble in mind?
It's funny. No, we didn't. We kind of were going for a completely different vibe. I think we were going to go for like a Go Girls like sort of thing, but not as I guess, I don't want to use the word party bop, but it's because it's definitely not that. But just that like up tempo sort of vibe. But so it was completely different, and we just kind of had like the first two lines in the verse penned out, and it's like, this isn't the one. And Tori came up with the first line in Trouble, and we just kind of wrote it from there within the next, like, I think it was that day we wrote it. We were doing a photo shoot, and on the way to the photo shoot, we were finishing the song. And then while we're doing the photo shoot, we're writing the lyrics as well. So it was just kind of, I think it was meant to happen, and it was, perfect, I think.
Was it a planned co-writing session? Or as in, like, do you often plan co-writing sessions together, or you just thought, oh, we have to do this at some point?
It's something I've always wanted to write with Tor, and timing just never really worked out, and being in the different states doesn't help either. So I think we've tried the Zoom right before, and I don't think we finished that one, Tori.
Yeah,
but
we never did. It's in the vault somewhere. So I think it was just
Tori was like, I'm coming to Melbourne. I want to write a song with you, and we knuckled down, and we smashed it, I think. So I'm excited. So
the Zoom one that's in the vault, Tori, is it in the vault because you didn't get to finish it on Zoom, or you're thinking, no, it doesn't, we're not seeing the light of day?
I think I think it might have even been during COVID. Like, Jay and I have been friends for a very long time. So it was one of those times where I was in Sydney, Jay was in Melbourne. We were both dealing with some really rough lockdowns and both just, you know, relying on each other as friends and checking in. And we're like, we should jump on Zoom and you know, try and write. And I think it was more of like a therapy session more than anything
I
from
think we
memory.
talked the entire time.
Yeah, we were like, oh, we started writing something. And to be honest, we could probably still go back to it and have a look at it. And I had completely forgotten about it, but it was just that really sort of wholesome like video chat between the two of us of just checking in with each other and you know, making sure that everyone, you know, that we were both okay in the different situations we were going through in our different states and that terrible time.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was just that Jay and I like we talk so often as it is anyway. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna fly down and I'm gonna spend a couple of days with you and the girls and Jamie, and let's just if we write a song, cool. If we don't, I just want to hang out. Like, so like Jay said, it just happened really naturally, and we did start writing a different song, and I just was like, Jay, I was like, I'm not feeling it. Like, it's not the vibe that I think either of us. It you get to a point in a songwriting session, and I've learned this the hard way sometimes that you can persist with a song and persist with it, and sometimes it's absolutely worth it. But other times you just know straight away and go, you know what, this isn't the vibe today. Let's move along. And we did that immediately, and just we wrote this song so quickly that it was a blessing to have recognized that it wasn't the right fit or it wasn't gelling like we wanted it to. Because then we ended up getting trouble out of that day and, you know, driving through drive-through and doing a photo shoot and sitting on the kitchen bench. Like it was just the funniest way to have written a full song. But it's one of my fondest memories when it comes to songwriting.
This is a question for both of you as songwriters. Do you think you have to kind of write through the songs that don't work or the bad songs in order to get to the good songs? It's this process of kind of getting it out of you, getting some stuff out of the way to clear the way.
I think in a way, yes, but I have learned to get that out real quick. And then if
Right.
it's not working, then it's just sometimes you come up with an idea that you think is really, really good, but you might be writing it on your own or writing it with someone else. Or I can get a little bit precious with some ideas as to who I take them to or if I write it on my own. And Jay might be the same because, you know, being a songwriter, like to write about life and our personal experiences. And I think that I've had instances where I've persisted with a song on an idea that I was absolutely in love with, and then the other person didn't ruin it for me, but kind of like took that specialness away from it. So I think yes and no. Like sometimes it's worth persisting, or other times it's like, hey, let's leave this idea and then you can write it another time. I think is really important because as a songwriter, we like to write about stuff that's important to us and stuff that we, you know, can get out on a stage and sing and it be believable, not just be like, I'm singing this song that I wrote about, you know, this and that, but you're not feeling it, you're not connecting with it anymore like you should have.
And Jay, for you as a songwriter, are you a get the dross out of the way songwriter?
I am pretty much the same as Tori. I was sitting on a song idea, or I'm going to say half-written song, and I was just really not sure on who I wanted to write it with, and I was just waiting for the right person to come that would understand the concept. And it took me 5 years for this particular song, and excuse me, and I finally found the songwriters to write with to bring that song and kind of appreciate my vision as well. So I guess yeah, I've definitely written my fair share of really terrible songs, and majority of them are half written. So I guess that just shows that I do know when to stop.
Because the interesting thing about the two of you writing together is you've been friends for so long. It could have gone badly wrong, right? Like it could have been you rhythm might have been really off. You just might not have gelled just because you gel as friends. In fact, it could have completely mitigated against it. So there's an element of bravery here. And I'm wondering who suggested it, like whose idea it was to actually get together and write this song.
I think it was Tori's idea, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we sort of talked about it so often, and Jay and I don't get a chance to see each other that often. And my hubby's a pilot, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna jump on staff travel and come down and see you. And I have travel at my fingertips a lot, so whenever I can make that effort to go see a friend, like I kind of always just do that. And predominantly, like I just wanted to hang out, like, and we'd set aside like 3 or 4 days or something just to hang out. And I hadn't really had the chance to spend too much time with Jay's girls either. So I really wanted to get to know the girls and just see Jamie and Jay and just hang out. So it was like, well, I'll bring my guitar as well. And we planned a photo shoot and everything just in case we got something. And like those photos were great and fun, but we ended up, you know, for the single cover and for our promo artwork, and we ended up just getting those photos in the moment while we're doing the video shoot because it just completely captured that vibe. But yeah, it's kind of like it was a risk. It's like one of those it's like when two best friends decide to, you know, after years and years of being best friends, they date like guy and girl, or girl and girl, whatever way. But and then it just goes terribly wrong and then you're not friends anymore. So like it could have been tragic, but no, I have no doubt that, you know, we'll probably write songs again and they might completely be like in the bin.
Totally suck.
But, yeah, but we're just really lucky that this time we were able to get a song out that we both just, it had a fun vibe. There was nothing necessarily too serious about it, which is why I think we could have some fun with it and not stress too much about writing a big story song. And even going into the studio with the guys, we had sent them the song prior and just said, hey, like this is what we've written, like what do you guys think, or should we go back to the drawing board and write something else? And they were like, no, we know exactly where this song needs to go. And so we're like, okay, cool, like it doesn't suck, so that's good.
Now the guys are MSquared, that's Michael De Lorenzo's known as Dello, I understand, and
Hello, yes.
Painter. So had either of you worked with them before?
I had never worked with the boys before. I knew both of them, like, or of them at least, but I'd always wanted to work with them. And that was another thing that I think then Jay suggested. She's like, hey, if we're going to do this collab, like maybe we work with, you know, the MSquared boys. And I was like, count me in.
So Jay, why did you think that? I mean, they are in Melbourne, so they're geographically convenient for you. But apart from that, why did you choose them?
I chose them. I mean, Michael Painter used to be my vocal coach when I was late teens to early 20s, and he's just an incredible vocalist. He's so knowledgeable, and I just really love the work that they do. They're known for their smash hits and their amazing production. So I thought, why not go all out and get the boys to put their spin on the song? And yeah, I think they did a really good job.
They did a great job, especially I'd say on the vocals. The two of you have quite different singing voices, and gee, they sound great together. So, and that was also not a given, right? Quite apart from the songwriting together, it's always a risk putting two different singing voices together. So Jay, I'm wondering for you, because this is a different sort of, I know you were in a pop punk band before country. Obviously this your voices lends towards this, but I'm wondering for you, having done country more recently, whether this was a different kind of process as a singer.
100%. And I think that's what made it so exciting for me as well, because I haven't put a song out like this before. And I thought this is the best introduction song to do that. So I've just been, I've got a few songs that are a little bit more in the up tempo field. And so I will maybe be releasing some of those this year, but this I thought would be the perfect, introduction for some people to start listening to that.
Perfect introduction for the sound, and also for you to feel out what MSquared are like to work with, just in case they turn out to be the right producers for the others.
And you know what? I think I've worked with a few producers, and Dello and Painter definitely have a way of bringing out the best, especially in your vocals as well. They just know what sounds good, and they know how much you've got to push. And you might be like, I can get very insecure singing in front of some of the best singers, especially. So when you've got someone, especially like Michael Painter, saying, you got this, you can do it, just have to do that. It's really cool. Not everyone can say that they've gotten to work with such incredible producers and artists. So yeah.
I'm surprised that you say you're insecure about singing in front of people, because you've got quite an instrument. But look, I suppose it's part of being an artist, right? That insecurity, and maybe you both have it. Maybe everyone has it, and I don't know.
I'm very self-critical, which is, I guess I don't like to tell everyone, but here I am on a podcast telling everybody, but I have you know, I especially with Tori, like she's got an incredible voice, and just all these other artists within the scene that I really look up to, and they've got such high standards. And so yeah, I can definitely be like, oh my God, I wish I was as good as them. And I think everybody does that, to be honest. But yeah, with Michael Painter, it's just, he's just one of those voices that I've looked up to him for so long. So it was, yeah, a bit of a pinch me moment, really.
And Tori, for you as a singer, because having been on The Voice, of course, there've been a bit of push and pull, I would imagine, different people telling you how to sing different things and different songs that you had to learn quickly. So for you, did you find that they pushed you, that MSquared pushed you with this song as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Like having done things like The Voice, where those TV shows thrive on Mariah moments, and I am not Mariah. I am
Mariah, that's a great way to put it.
I am Tori, and I, you know, with every instance I went into, even within that show, I was like, no, like I need to do it my way, in the way that I sing, and push me in that lane. Like, don't push me into a lane that is not me. And I really found that working with the boys was just, they got you as an artist. They really tapped into who Jay was, who I was. And, you know, like Jay and I do have very different voices, and the way that they helped us blend those two voices, and just, you know, I sang harmony for majority of the song, and Jay was singing the melody, and just, you know, bringing out those different parts of our voices for that particular song. I've got, you know, quite a high voice, so those high harmonies for me were like, oh yeah, that's cool. But I tell you what, like I was pushing. There was definite moments where I was like, this is so high. And Painter's like, you've got this. And I was like, I don't got this. But it was definitely, it was such a challenge, but I love a good challenge. And the fact that the boys just, they're amazing at what they do, but they believe in the artist too that they work with, and they're there to get the best out of you. Whereas, you know, Jay would have experienced the same thing, that you work with producers that just go, that'll do. Yeah, that'll do. And then you get it back and you go, I hate this. Like, this doesn't sound like me. Or they don't capture the essence that they need to capture within your voice or within your range. And that's so important as a singer. Like, at the end of the day, like, we are singers. Yes, we're musicians, but we are singers. Like, we are recording our voices. We want all of those components of, you know, those notes that we're singing and the verses and the chorus to all sound like it's our best foot forward, because you're putting these songs to radio, you're putting these songs on social media, you're putting them online, you're putting them everywhere. You want to be proud of it. And I think that's one of the best experiences recording wise I've had.
You've both mentioned Michael Painter pushing you as vocalists, yet there is not a single second of this song that sounds forced. Like, your voices don't sound forced. So clearly you reached a point where it was flowing.
Yeah, I definitely think there were moments where I was like, oh my God, this is high. But by, you know, Michael Painter has a way of helping you approach a note and helping you get to those positions you need to get to, and I just guess trying things that I probably wouldn't try on my own. But then when you've got someone like him, who has got one of the most phenomenal voices we have in Australia, going, no, you've got this, all you need to do is do this. And you go, oh, that was easy. You know, just a different way of singing and a different approach goes a long way.
And so, Jay, did you have fun in this recording process? Once, you know, after Michael was pushing you a little bit, and get to a point where it's actually fun and you can relax in the studio?
Yeah, I loved it. I always, like, especially after seeing just a lot of their videos on social media, who they've worked with, and I knew that this song was like, it needed the Painter and De Lorenz's touch on it, and I think they really, really helped us get the vocal that we needed. And I can't wait to work with them again, to be completely honest. Yeah, it was a really, really cool experience.
So the fun, yeah, the reason why I talk about fun is that I think it is underrated, particularly post-COVID, actually. And when I heard this song, I was like, okay, this is really good fun. It's like the serious songwriting and serious singing, in that both of you have these great instruments, but it also sounds fun. And then I saw the video, I was like, and this is a lot of fun. So Tori, you worked with Jake Davey on the video. There was some line dancing involved. Do you have experience?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Jay and I were trying to pick up the line dance while they were practicing, and I think the two of us ended up just bumping into each other several times and getting turned around. And I have lots of experience dancing, and I have line danced here and there, but very, very basic, like boot scoot and boogie style line dancing. So this video clip was so fun. Like Jay and her team organized the line dancers and they added such a cool aspect. They also ended up being our extras in this video as well. And I am very big when it comes to planning, and Jay will know this because I was like, okay, cool. I had written out like a whole concept of this is what the video needs. These are all the different bits that we need for this video clip, and we need to be on a bar at some point. You know, the lyrics of dancing on the tabletop singing Can't Fight the Moonlight. And I mean, that was a bit of a Leanne Rhyme reference for me when we were writing this song, because I'd obviously done the voice, and just creating those moments within this song that felt still, as much as it was a fun song, I still found that we got to create moments where, yeah, there's probably been a time that Jay and I, like say in Tamworth at the Academy, had a wild night and woke up the next day and just went, love you, but like, let's not do that again for a little while. And you know, my experience on The Voice and just bringing together like this really strong friendship that we have. Jay is one of my best friends and I absolutely adore her. So getting to do this video clip with her and having so much fun while doing it, there was nothing about it that it was fake. Everything was just so authentic. We had really sore legs the next day from so much dancing. But it was just,
I couldn't walk for a week.
yeah, look, sitting down was hard.
And you mentioned dancing on the bar. There is this also a little flicker in the clip where there's someone who gives you a dirty look for getting up on the bar. I was like, thinking, was that scripted or was that person genuinely like, oh my God?
No, that was definitely a scripted thing. Like that was some of our line dancing crew and they were having so much fun. But there were definite moments where we were like, okay, we need a little bit of this, being like, who do these girls think they are? And the bartender actually is my husband. So
okay. Well, that's handy. Was he serving you actual shots? That's your cue.
no, the funny thing is that I guess in the planning of this video clip as well, we're like, we need to like definitely have shots, but I'm like, I can barely have a drink without falling on the floor because I just can't handle my alcohol. And so I was like, well, so we got an empty Fireball bottle. We filled it with apple juice. And I think I was on a really big sugar high after that because there was a lot of apple juice shots that day.
I haven't been able to have apple juice since.
No, me either. I cannot. Apple juice and I are not friends anymore.
No.
Jay, you organise the line dances. Does that mean you do it yourself?
I definitely do not do it. My only experience line dancing would be to Tyler Rodriguez actually taught me a line dance, and she taught me the incorrect dance as well, mind you. So we had Gilly's line dancing come down for the video, and they created their own dance for Trouble, and yeah, it's definitely not for a beginner. And I'm going to call myself a beginner because I'm completely hopeless and have two left feet. So I'm actually really, really excited to actually post the choreography for it so people can start learning the dance and maybe sharing their attempts at doing it as well.
So, and I'm presuming it was an actual bar called Cowboys, but how appropriate.
I know, it was the perfect venue for it.
Well, yeah, as I said, it's a really fun clip. And at the time that this interview is posted, the song and the clip will be out so people can see them. So now just shifting away from this song and to your individual work in general, Jay, you've been releasing some great originals for a while. You've mentioned that you have some songs you'd like to record. Do you think you're heading towards an album, and this is a consideration these days for artists, is an album actually not a thing? Is it an EP? Is it continuing to release singles?
I am very, very excited. I've got a few songs that I've gotten fully produced and recorded and ready to go. I don't know. I think they're going to maybe be a couple more singles, and then I'm hoping that I'll put out, if it's not an EP, it will be an album. But if it is going to be an album, it might be waiting until either end of the year or next year, because I just want to make sure I've got the perfect songs on there ready to go, and yeah, I think I'm very, very impatient. I would just love everybody to be able to hear what I've got ready to go, but I've been told that I need to hang tight.
Oh, wow. Who would tell you such a thing?
Yeah, I know. How dare they? But all good things must wait. But yeah, I've definitely got some more things in the works planned.
Now, Tori, you have a lot going on because you've been on tour with Lee Kernaghan for over a year and more dates announced. And so, to the outside observer, it looks like that show must be a blast, but I imagine it's also quite hard work because you're moving from town to town and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard. I wouldn't say hard work. It's hard work on the body. Like it's the traveling, it's the early mornings, the late nights, the high energy shows. The work itself isn't hard. It is so much fun. And if you come off and you're not sweaty, you haven't worked hard enough, basically. You haven't had a good enough time. We played a show recently, and I we were just all of us like gave each other a hug afterwards, and it was one of those things of like, okay, get off me, like we were so gross. Life on the road with Lee Kernaghan it's like a family, and I'm so grateful to be a part of that crew. And we've got a very, very busy 2025 planned. Lee has announced a big 2025 tour for the Boys from the Bush, and I'll be opening the shows, and then I jump in the band. So yeah, it's a lot, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Like as a kid growing up, all I ever wanted to do was sing and to play shows for people, and I'm getting to do that. Like I do music completely full time. I don't do anything else. I spend my weekdays working on music, writing music, recording music, and over weekend I'm out there playing shows and doing what I love and traveling the world and the country, and I feel very, very lucky to be doing that.
Because you are currently on tour with Brad Butcher, with whom you released The Chain. It's actually quite a lot of dates for you to squeeze in between your Lee Kernaghan dates.
Yeah, look, I sort of knew the lead dates were starting off from May. So Brad and I were talking, and, on the back end of The Voice, we never knew what the reaction would be. And so many people were like, you guys need to do a tour. You guys need to record more songs together. So The Chain actually came out very quickly. So we didn't have a lot of sort of time to prepare for that release to come out. It was very like, all right, cool. We literally had the song recorded within 10 days, video clip recorded in America, in New Jersey, and it was done. It was to radio. It was to all of our streaming services, and then it was like, oh wow, and then people were like, oh, you've released a song, so when are the shows coming? And then we had 25 dates come through, which was amazing, and we're 2 weekends, sort of 3 weekends into that now, and we still got another 4 or 5 weekends of tours as well. And yeah, it's crazy. It's full on. We just wrapped up a weekend in Southeast Queensland, which was phenomenal. I'm just, like I said, I feel very lucky that I get to call this work.
And Jay, you have 2 little ones in the household, so touring's probably not as feasible for you. But if the planets align, can you see Tori and you doing some dates here and there?
For sure. I mean, I'm pretty flex, especially when it comes to weekends. A lot of gigs happen on from your Thursday to Sundays. So I've had a fair bit of practice over the last 12 plus months doing a lot of in and out of state. So it's yeah, definitely not something that I'm ruling out. So you never know. We could be doing a gig sometime soon.
Or it could be the Trouble Tour, just putting it out
You never
there.
know. You never know.
It's a fantastic song, and it's been great to speak to the 2 of you. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope it's not the last collaboration between the 2 of you.
Thank you so much, Sophie. I'm so glad that you love this song, and I think everyone will too.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks both. See ya.
Thank you.